What's up, OSIMA Ball Reviews? Keegan here, and today we're going to be looking at the Columbia 300 Atlas. Now, I did film this on the same day as the Dark Code, and I even recorded a little bit of commentary for it, including this part of the video. However, that's gone. Computer lost it. Computer actually reset itself, so I had to recover some things I couldn't. So you get Keegan and his off day. But let's get into the ball. First off, features the Formula 1 solid cover. First time it's been seen in a solid form. Originally debuted on the Speed. This is not the HK22 version. It's finished at 502,000 Sia Air sanding pads. Features a 252 RG, an 054 differential, and an 018 asymmetry. And essentially that amounts to, that's a really big core, really strong cover, and really I think this ball's going to hook. Spoiler alert, the ball hooks. Honestly, I needed a big ASIM in my bag. I didn't really have anything to fill that slot. So, yeah, I decided to go with this one. By the way, shout out to Cam in the Discord server. I know it's not Blast, but it's still Baja. Mountain Dew is not a sponsor, unless they want to change that. Pepsi does like to sponsor bowling. Anyways, let's get on to the review and we can talk about how this ball hooks. Alright, here we are in some fresh oil, which I had them put out for me. I'm actually going to be also going on some transition lanes here later, because I had an option to do it. I just wanted to see, what happened with it. It was just after some people bowled League. On the fresh oil, this ball kind of surprised me. Because on a typical house shot, which was what I'm bowling on here, there's a lot of friction to the outside, and it just kind of blended it out. Of course, there you can see where either I came up a little bit up the back of it, or just got into the friction a little bit too much. It kind of burned out, which is to be expected with how strong this ball is. But it handled both the friction and blending it out and angle very, very well for a big cover ball. Which I know a lot of big ASIMs, they can't handle that type of angle, and they definitely would straighten up off of that friction, where you saw that ball just kind of kept going, which is really impressive to me. Here, we're actually on a transitioned lane, and the blendiness of this ball kind of came up even more, where it's just, I can get it out to the friction, and it just kind of it doesn't jump off of it, but it really keeps its angle of rotation really well, and just keeps going. I like to avoid typical Stafford buzzwords. I don't like the words like continuous and must-haves. I like to describe individual balls and their usefulness. This is a high traction ball with a kind of medium response to friction, which means it's going to be pretty usable for people on a fair amount of conditions. Nothing like short oil or super light oil, of course, but medium conditions, longer conditions, as long as they aren't even if they're pretty heavy, you can just really scuff it down, and I think it'd be usable. But for a really used up house shot, you can tell this ball is doing a lot of work and actually not looking terrible. Did start to leave a few 10 pins as I got really angly with it, but you can see there, I've been tripping a lot of pins too. This ball hooks. Not much else to say about it. From there, the ball just moves. And that's okay. It's okay to just have a ball that moves, but the thing with this one is, compared to something like an Envy, or I haven't really seen much of the mindset, so I'm not going to say anything about that. But some typical big ASIM sanded solids, they roll forward off the spot. This one is kind of, if you give it some angle, it'll keep going. And I really actually enjoyed that. It actually made it usable on a house shot where it's never going to see again. But if I really had to, I wouldn't hate to have to do it. Honestly, I really enjoy throwing this ball. And I'm planning on having it be part of my sports shot bag. And speaking of sports shots, there is a league that I'm hopefully going to be joining. It's a draft league, that's why I can't say for sure. That I will actually be potentially bowling in, if not, I'll at least be there working it. Happening Tuesdays in August, starting in August. And that's actually going to really help me do some of these reviews. And also start doing update videos for them, where I'm going to be talking about what I've seen from them since then. And I am stealing that idea from Luke Rosedahl. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not. It's a great concept, especially with how many bowling balls Brunswick puts out. I understand there's 7 brands, but at the same time, you got to know what to come back to. What's like those hidden gems. The Infinity, not very hidden. I love that ball. I really like this ball and the Dark Web that I just rolled up. But the Dark Web especially, it's something I'm going to want to revisit and come back to. I'm very much looking forward to throwing that one and this one as well, just to see where I'm able to fit it in. Well, let's move on to the bag portion of it, and I gave 5 in the Dark Web video. I didn't realize that I had originally decided to do 6, so I'm going to give you legitimately the arsenal that I will be taking to league every week, except for that sports shot league where I'm going to have all of my bowling balls, because currently I only have 10, so it's easier to keep up with them. But let's talk about that. Alice is your number 1 ball. It hooks, and then it keeps hooking, and then after it's done doing that, it just keeps hooking. It's not the strongest ball I've ever thrown. The one that's actually hooked the absolute most for me, to where even on a fresh house shot I was having to loft the gutter with it, was the Infamous. That ball just wouldn't stop. I really actually liked that ball on sports shot, but on a house shot it was too much. But this is going to be your number 1 ball. Step down to Infinity whenever you need something that'll just kind of have a touch more angle with it. With it being a hybrid, it can have a touch more, but also something you can control going into that little bit of transition. Throw that Dark Web hybrid in there. I'm going to be testing that ball out a lot just to really see how it settles in, see if a personality develops. After that, Game Breaker 2, great ball. Tundra Fire, great, just overall weaker ball that still can handle angle pretty good. And then I keep it current line whenever I'm talking about the bowling balls that I would be throwing. So I'm going to say Purple Hammer. Mine's going to be a blue hammer because that's my spare ball. But yeah, that's what I would throw if I was building an arsenal kind of down from this ball. The only really responsive ball in there is going to be that Tundra Fire, but I don't like responsive balls, so that's why. Anyways, let's wrap this up. I have been OSIMA ball reviews. Oh shoot, I missed again. I hope I don't miss y'all next time. Thanks for watching.